sale of the firm and also to remove anti-takeover provisions in the corporate charter. DuPont, the best gainer next to IBM in the Dow 30 today, up 2 1/4. Elf Aquitaine down 1 5/8, a negative reaction to Socialist Party victories in Sunday's French legislative elections. Gateway 2000 up 5 7/8 at a record high. Of course, the company made its debut on the big board last Thursday when it closed at 68 3/4. IBM at a record high with that gain of 5.5 points at 178 7/8. J.P. Morgan, the biggest loser in the Dow 30, off 1 3/8. Vishay Intertechnology rising 3 1/2 points after Alex Brown Brokerage upgraded it from buy to strong buy. Blythe Industries, the nation's largest candle maker, up 4 3/4 points. Spokesman told us the company is comfortable with Wall Street earnings estimates for the first quarter of 30 cents a share. He also noted there's a big short position in the stock, 3.2 million shares. And a Dillon Reed analyst said he thinks Blythe Industries stock is oversold. Polymer Group up 1 3/8. A spokesman told us company officials met with over 30 institutional investors last week. I guess they heard something that they liked. Stone Container rising 7/8 after First Boston upgraded the stock from hold to buy. Broken Hill Proprietary, the big Australian natural resource firm, losing 2 1/8 points. The company said fourth quarter results will be hurt by abnormal losses linked to restructuring and also predicted flat earnings until the restructuring plan is completed. Cadence Design Systems off 2 1/8 after the Goldman Sachs brokerage removed it from its priority list. NASDAQ trading, an easy record in the index, up 19.5 points. First time ever, incidentally, above 1,400. Trading volume heavy, 634 million shares, well up from Friday. 21 stocks higher for every 19 lower. Intel at a record high, topped the active list in a very strong high-tech group, up 6 1/8. Microsoft, that's a record high, up 3 3/4. Cisco System rose 1 3/8, doing very well also. 3Com up 3.5 points. Payne Weber says there's now a lessening threat of Intel moving into its adapter market. Dell Computer rose 6 points to a record. Applied Materials up a full point. U.S. Robotics gaining 6. Ascend Communications gained 4. Ciena Corporation down 3 3/4. Goldman Sachs released 8.8 million shares subject to lockup agreements, so that's overhanging the market. Sun Microsystem gained 1/2. Cyber Media up 4 3/8 points. CompUSA said it's going to include some cyber media software products with the computers that it sells. Viasat up 2 1/8 points. The company was the 84th on Business Week's list of the best 100 small hot growth stocks. And finally, sellers drilling United Dental Care for an 8-point loss after the company said second quarter earnings will be significantly below Wall Street estimates of 33 cents a share. With the American Exchange Index, a half-point gain in the index. Trading volume up 1 3/4 million shares from Friday. 34 more stocks closed with gains than losses. Standard & Poor's depository receipts reflecting the 2 2/3 point gain in the Standard & Poor's 500 index, up 11/32. SoftNet up 1 1/8. We talked to the company's chief financial officer. He said no corporate developments to account for that nice gain. Maybe the company stock was just in a nice big high-tech rally. 71,000 shares traded today. That's 7 times above the normal daily number of shares. And Gaylord Container moved up 7/8 after First Boston upgraded it from hold to buy. That's our Wall Street wrap-up. Linda?
Well, Paul, the Dow may be bridging new highs, but so are some other stock markets south of the border. Latin American stock markets are booming, but the trend has gone largely unnoticed by many U.S. stock and mutual fund investors. Jeff Yasteen reports.
Many investors haven't bothered to even think about Latin American stocks the past several years, not with the Dow again at its highs, and not after the Mexican peso debacle in early 1995. And yet, analysts say it may be time to think again about the region, including Brazil, with the area's fastest growing economy, and yes, even Mexico.
They're privatizing state enterprises, which is very important because once you privatize the large public sector, there's no return. The new entities then demand better economic policies as a result of that. So that we know them by their actions. They're implementing free market reforms, and they continue to do it under difficult economic conditions sometimes.
For the equity markets of many Latin countries, the approach is paying dividends. Mexico's Bolsa is up 19% for 1997. Brazil is up more than 54% for the year. 2 years ago, that nation was still struggling to implement open market reforms. But today, it's spun off a host of newly privatized companies. But one worry is whether Brazil's leaders will continue to hold a tight monetary policy to keep inflation low.
One of the keys is this issue of sustaining monetary policy. Essentially, Brazil has single-digit inflation, as I mentioned, but has double-digit real interest rates. It's the only market and economy in the world where that situation exists. I believe as inflation continues to be low and benign, that real interest rates can fall, and that's very bullish for the equity market.
Other observers aren't so sure about the region, pointing to past cycles of economic success followed by monetary disaster. And even those who are bullish on the region say there will be volatility, but they argue when it comes to measuring risk versus reward, there's a lot more to be gained in the Latin American bolsas than in the U.S. equities market.